and our players were reaching for it. Unbelievable. I think he got, now you know better than I think he got 7 strikeouts or 8. And if there were 7 or 8, they were all on that pitch.
Yeah, he ended up with 7, and at least 6 of the strikeouts were with it,
right.
if not all of them. I mean,
right.
it worked very well. He slid away from a while, then as soon as he returned with it, the Otters had no answers for it.
Right.
It was a really tough luck, no contest for Justin Watland, who looked really good in his first start in a couple of weeks after being on the IL for a while. He looked really good. It's an unfortunate way for him to come back.
Oh, I'll agree with you. It's just that the offense didn't come through. That's it. You get a pitcher out there breaking his heart out. He's throwing a good game, and he's got he's got good defense, but he's got no offense. And you don't win games unless you have offense.
Well, the Otters are going to ask the arm of Vinny Santasiero to lead them to victory today. He's appeared just once this year for the Otters as a reliever. He stands 6'7", 250. He's a Evansville local.
He is?
Yes, indeed.
What school?
His last team was here in Evansville. I'd have to look up exactly where he went to school.
Oh, okay.
But he lives here in Evansville.
Okay. But, the other thing is, too, we never know from day to day what the lineup is going to be, who's out there and who's not. I see that Perez is back in center field, and you got Rosario over there in left field, and it's good to see Felix is back catching.
Yeah, I think it was uplifting last night to see Felix take that pinch hitting opportunity because it showed that whatever piece of his shoulder that was really bothering him must have felt a little bit better because he was able to go in and swing. We're hoping that injury isn't one that stays any longer because if the Otters see another catcher go down, it's going to make for a very hard last 25 games.
Yeah. I hope Andy went out there and asked, anybody ever caught high school or college? And if so, you're in reserve.
Well, and John Anthon impressed in these last 2 nights. I liked what we saw behind the plate.
Yep.
He brings a solid bat as well. If something, God forbid, were to happen, the Otters do have a catcher that can help them out.
You're right. He blocked the ball well. He had good agility. His lateral movements are good. And that's what a catcher has to do. You can't use that mid and swipe him like a first baseman.
Well, the Otters are going to have just a couple of differences on the field. The one that makes the most impact on our official scorer down there, Dennis, is going to be the Andy Armstrong. Decided to change his number, which if the defense goes away, the number is getting changed right back. I guess he wanted that number at the beginning of the year, but because Gary Mattis wore it for so long, he stuck with his. The small things.
It is small things.
But he's going to stay at second base tonight. George Khalil will be across of second base at shortstop again. At first will be Bierman. At third, J.R. Davis. It's the all-star infield. It's the infield is going to get you outs, and that it's going to get you consistency.
Let me just interject something, Matthew, on this point. Yes, changing a number is just a little thing. Can you imagine, or do you imagine? I know for actual reality, there are major league players negotiating with the general manager, and they'll say, "We'll give you $10 million for 3 years or 4 years." No problem. Money's accepted. Oh, wait a minute. I want special parking for my wife. Oh, wait a minute. And I want it's the little tiny things that help. My brother negotiated with Joe Carter. You won't believe this, with his agents. It was over 15 hours. Started like 8 o'clock at night, didn't end up until early in the morning. The money was solved the first time they sat down. But it's little things like you said.
Yeah, and you even see it in some of the major leagues where players buy numbers from other people. If they come to a new team and they want the number they've worn their whole career,
right,
they buy it from the rookie.
Oh, really?
You see it all the time now as well. Grizzlies are going to be wearing their dark blue today with the white trim numbers and Grizzlies written across the front. So that means we get to see the Otters white jersey, one we don't see too often.
I know.
They're a good look.
And I love that uniform, the white and white. It's a Brooklyn or Los Angeles Dodgers. I think it's so attractive. And it's a Sunday, and that's where it belongs.
Yeah, if the blue team Otters are not going to have a powdered blue jersey for Sundays, they need to wear the whites on Sundays.
Yes.
Well, we are just a few minutes away from first pitch here. Though it is a little bit warm, it is a beautiful day for baseball here in Evansville as the 3-game homestand comes to an end. Otters looking for one final win against this Gateway team before they take the road for 6 in Chicago. We'll take a break, and on the other side, we've got first pitch here from Bosse Field. Gateway Otters coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Anthem's been sung, lineups have been announced, and we are ready for baseball here from historic Bosse Field in the heart of Evansville, Indiana. Beautiful day for baseball as the Grizzlies and the Otters conclude their season series. Before we go any further, I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Working Distributors, Evansville. To the mound we go to introduce you to tonight's starter, number 32, the Evansville native, Vinny Santasiero. He's made just one appearance this year out of the bullpen for the Otters earlier last week. And he will look to help the Otters grab a win here. This has been a series that the Otters have been very good in so far, 10-2 against Gateway this year. And there's no denying that the home run ball has been a big deal in this series. We saw it again on Friday night.
The home run ball has been a great help to the Otters all year, but also has been a detriment in certain situations. And it's unfortunate. And, here you're playing at Bossy Field in Otterville, and it's one of the biggest fields in the entire professional baseball in the United States. And yet, of course, now we've got the portable fence, but if you went back to that brick wall, I mean, it's bigger than some Major League ballparks. So you don't expect many home runs is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and as the old saying goes, when you're a home run hitting team, you live by the long ball, you die by the long ball. And that's been the Otters recently. When the home runs are not being hit, there's been losses there's been notches in the loss column, but when they're hitting the home runs, they're starting to be favored.
Well, I'm surprised that the people that are hitting the home runs, I mean, the ones you don't expect, generally, when you make up a team, your third baseman, your first baseman, your right fielder, your left fielder, they're your power hitters. Your shortstop and center fielder, they're not the power hitters. They're the defensive players. And yet, it's our defensive players that are coming up with the big home runs. Crocodile George on short. Who would expect him to win a couple games with that home run?
The men for Gateway tonight, Andrew Penner, Isaac Bernard, and Zach Rakusin lead things off before Trevor Ockenbaugh, Kevin Krause, and Clint Freeman man the middle three. Diaz, Prather, and Hernandez rounded out.
I tell you, Penner has been what would you call it? Something in the Otters' nest because, well, last night, didn't he get the tying run and the winning run knocked in or something?
Yeah, he had two different RBIs. One was the go-ahead, one was the insurance.
Yes.
Yeah. Pitch catches the zone, and Santiago has his first strike of the outing.
And he got the triple the night before that put them ahead. He has been a nuisance.
The 2-1 to Andrew Penner.
Strike three.
Called strike two, evens things up.
Two.
Toasty day for baseball here. The Otters are hoping they can end it with a win. 2-2, the count to Andrew Penner. Cracked bat, it's off the way inside edge, and he's going to have to get a new bat before the foul.
Yeah, cracked bat. I heard our PA announcer, Zane Godfather, mentioned the temperature was 88 at the start of this game. I went to church this morning. I had a suit on, and I was going to wear it out here because my computer, the temperature said 78. I said, oh, that's beautiful. But I think it's in the 90s. I think the computer lied.
2-2 to Andrew Penner. Let's try it again. And it's high inside ball three.
What did they used to say years ago? The computers are never wrong.
Well, the joke now is that you can believe everything on the internet.
Is that right?
Yeah, of course. You can believe everything.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing false out there. Of course not. 3-2 to Penner. Called strike three.
Wow. Penner's got a good argument. He's arguing right now, and he's got a good one. That was low outside. Strike three, unbelievable.
German-American Bank strikeout kicks off the day for Vinny Santiago.
If I was a Evansville ball player, I'd sit and take note of that right now and say, whoa.
That pitch was not close to it. Anything on the outside was not a strike last night. If it's going to be a strike tonight, if you're Vinny Santiago, use that a little bit.
That's right. So,
and if you're an Otter hitter, be careful. You're going to have to go after a couple of those. First pitch to Bernard. Stays a little bit too high for ball one.
Did that say 97 out there?
It does.
97.
One ball, no strikes for Isaac Bernard.
That's a strike.
It's a called strike one that evens the count up.
I don't know what that was, but that wasn't a fastball. It kind of broke. Whether it was a forkball or slider, I don't know, but it had some movement.
A 1-1. Catches the outside edge, called strike two.
Matthew, I always found interesting Now here I said it showed movement, but I don't know what it is. I can't tell you how many times I sat in a major league ballpark watching a major league ball game, having former major league players who are now major league scouts sitting next to me, and we're all looking at that pitcher.
Swinging strike three, make it back to back. German American Bank strikeouts to start this one.
Strikeouts.
Anyway, we're all looking at that pitcher. We said, "Oh, did you see that ball move?" Yeah. One yells, "Oh, it was a slider." No, it was a forkball. No. Can you imagine? You'd have 5 or 6 major league former pitchers, and they would all have different opinions. And you'd be surprised the other scouts that were outfielders and infield, they're all marking down whatever the pitchers say, you know. And I'd say, I get paid for my opinion, not for someone else's.
First pitch to Rakusin is high for ball one. Vinny Santasiero actually hails from Hollywood, Florida, but then he went to school at Fontbonne University in St. Louis before being an undrafted rookie signing by the LA Dodgers.
Oh,
he ended
really?
up playing in single A, double A for a couple years, including a full season with double A Tulsa before he fell down to the rookie leagues. He actually took a couple years off of baseball. In 2018, he retired for a while, became a mortgage broker, and that's what he does here in Evansville.
Oh, really?
As well as coaches high school baseball, and last year he filled in for the Otters a couple games, and here he is this year filling in for a couple games.
Oh.
Well, he looks good so far in this one, throwing a lot of strikes.
Yeah. Hollywood, Florida is a pretty nice town. It's a little north of Miami and Fort Lauderdale in that area. It's on the East Coast. I know it well because my sister had a condo there. It was up on like the 34th floor. Beautiful. There was a canal running alongside. And you got the ocean.
Pitch inside is going to be a 5-pitch walk to Zach Rakusin.
Batting fourth, designated hitter, 16, Trevor Achenbach.
Yeah, Hollywood, Florida. Have you ever been to Florida?
I have a few times.
It's beautiful down there.
It is. Although I'd imagine right now it's a bit toasty.
I would say it's a little warm.
No, I'm just not a fan of the heat. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
I could think of a lot of better ways to spend my day than sitting in the heat.
Well, if you were in Florida, you were probably going at the beach, or that was a curveball there. You're going to be at the beach or sitting around the pool. I know when I was scouting down there, I spent a lot of time sitting around the pool.
You can't work too hard. 1-0 to Trevor Achenbach with a runner at first and 2 outs. It's pushed foul to the right side. It will get out of play. Pretty good breeze here today, going straight out towards the left field foul pole.
The best. Never regret it.
I remember one time down there, it was spring training, got down there one day, and it was up around Jacksonville. So it wasn't that far down. There he goes.
Runner goes, and it's a swinging strike, too. It looked like it was foul tipped towards Felix, and that's why he didn't get a good grip on the ball to throw.
But anyway, I went out to lay in the pool early in the morning, and then a Met scout came, and we were just talking, him and his wife and me. And I just sat there. I got the worst sunburn I ever got in my life. The skin, after a couple of days, just kept rolling off my body. An itch. Ooh.
So Rakusin's back at first after the foul tip. A 1-2 coming home, and it's well inside for ball 2.
That didn't have much of a break on that curveball. It just kind of hung up there.
Of course, when the Otters decided they wanted to start Vinny Santasiero today, it also made the impact that you might have to go to the bullpen earlier than you'd love.
Oh.
Throwing a bullpen arm, that's kind of what you expect. Runner's going to go. Ball sent out towards right center field. McNamee thinks he's underneath it, and yes, he is. Out number 3. We've played 1/2 inning, and we're still scoreless from historic Bosse Field. We head to the bottom half of the first. Right after this, Rosario, Bierman, and Baez do up for the Otters. bottom of the first inning here. And with that, we introduce you to the man on the mound for the Gateway Grizzlies, Lucas Feinbergs, the 6-0 righty. Played at the University of Michigan University of Missouri earlier this year. And is now trying to keep a successful season alive with the Grizzlies. So far this year, this is just his second start, but his 13th appearance. He's gone 28 total innings, and he has 20 strikeouts in that time. Behind the plate is Hernandez. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North River Road. Call at 812-475-9000. The Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Brian Rosario, makes his way to the plate. We've been incredibly impressed with his performance this weekend.
Yes, I have. And one day I watched him on third. Next day he's out there in the left field. So
what I really like from Rosario is that he had a couple of rough games against Lake Erie, but he bounced back in this series. They obviously trusted him with the leadoff spot, and he's gotten on base very consistently in the first 2 games of this series.
Well, I remember you saying he played 6 games, and out of the 6 games, 4 of the 6 he had multiple hits. So that's quite impressive there alone.
Of his 9 plate appearances in this series so far, he's reached base in 6 of the 9. You'll take that any day.
I certainly will, whether it's by hook or crook.
If your leadoff man gets on, it sets up those powerful bats that usually follow, and in this case, it's Bierman, Baez, and Sinsley, each of which can change the game with one swing of the bat.
Well, the object of the leadoff man
Check swing, sent foul to the
is
left side.
he's got to have a good eye, because a walk is just as good as a hit. But also, he's got to get on base, because again, like you said, he's a setup man for your power hitter. Or your best hitter, your third, your batter, the player who's batting third. I got it out.
A half swing. Rosario doesn't think he went around, and no, he did not.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-2 count. And that's why Gary Mattis was so dangerous at the beginning of this year as the Otters leadoff man. Because not only would he almost always walk or get a little blooper base hit to first, but he was so quick, he challenged every catcher, and he would steal second and third. Ball sent on the ground towards Prather at second. He plays it into the glove. The throw just in time for out number 1. Rosario made that a much closer play than I thought it was going to be.
So did I. He hustled down that line. That's one thing as a scout that you're impressed with, and that is hustle.
Well, I can't think of a time he doesn't do that.
Right.
I mean, yesterday he was just barely out on his leadoff spot just like that.
But you notice how many players will hit a ground ball to the infield and they'll just trot down to first base. They just assume they're out automatically. And they're not allowing for the shortstop or second baseman to make an error, a bad throw, first baseman make an error. They just trot down there. And as a scout, you mark that down, boy. Lazy. No hustle.
1-0 to Bierman, stays high and outside. He's got himself way ahead in the count.
Looks like, I don't know, this guy, look at that in front of the mound where the lead foot is hitting. It's already, let's see if he hits there. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, I know it's not Santasiero because he stands 6'7", so his stride is much longer.
Yeah.
But he's really